My name is Diana Pastrana. I'm the lead organizer of 1 Million Cups. How many new faces today? So many new faces.
Great.
I love that. Welcome to all of you. I probably would guess that you've come to us from various different sources, but just a little bit about 1 Million Cups. We are a nationwide collaboration of about 180 communities now across the country. Everybody meets at the same time or in the mornings on Wednesdays weekly. So right now, all over the country, there's entrepreneurs pitching their ideas and connecting with the community. So that's something that we've been a part of now for about 5 years, which makes us one of the longest lasting company, or not longest lasting, but one of the first established communities for 1 Million Cups. So very, very cool. We always, of course, want to remember to thank our sponsors. Dream Bank has just very graciously been hosting us, and I'm glad people are finding us again and coming, so this is great. Starting Block, love you guys, and Field 59 for doing our live stream. So if you ever want to see the presentation, but you cannot make it here, or you want to reference back something you heard today, then we do have a live stream. We put it up on our Facebook. It's on Field 59's website. I think it lives in a couple other places too. So definitely check that out, or if you want to check out past presentations, we also have a YouTube channel that we post up on YouTube. So I think that covers us from the social media standpoint. Just so you guys know, we do go around and do quick introductions, who we are, what we do, and then we'll kick it off for about a 6 to 10 minute presentation. Then we have a Q&A afterwards, and we wrap up by 9:20. So just so you guys know what's going on.
Right. And as you do introductions, any announcements you might have of interest to the general entrepreneurial community, please make them. We sometimes have announcements, but you all probably do as well.
Yeah, my phone's not working, so I don't know what to do today. Again, I am Diana Pastrana. I am the lead organizer of 1 Million Cups, and I am job searching right now.
My name is Josh Helling. I'm an entrepreneur. My background is in software and product development. I consult with startups and growing technology companies on product and technology strategy. Announcement-wise, if you didn't notice, the parking ramp appears to be open. At least I put my car in it and nobody stopped me.
That was my announcement.
Sorry.
That is such a great announcement.
Chandra can tell you about the rates.
I parked on Willie Street.
I am James Kidman at Calls and Call, and I parked 5 miles away.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Got your exercise in.
Yeah, right, so that's cool. I have Calls and Call. It's a shared answering service for small businesses.
I'm Taylor Sinfield. I'm co-founder of AssuredLeads. You'll learn a little bit more about us this morning.
Travis Batista, co-founder of AssuredLeads as well.
Kurt Peterson, co-founder of 32 Auctions, a platform for hosting and managing small auction funding.
Steve Cladd, the other co-founder of 32 Auctions.
I'm Shonda Millefinen. I run Starting Block Madison. Yes, the parking ramp that was supposed to be open in July is now finally open in December. Rates are 80 cents an hour, so it's a pretty good rate there. Let's see, Starting Block has the second, third, and fourth floor of the Spark building. We're an entrepreneurial hub for growing and scalable startup companies. We also do a lot of programming here in the building. So if anybody wants a tour of Starting Block or day class, please talk to me. I'd be happy to show you around.
I'm Derek Gebler. I'm the founder of Field 59. Field 59 was acquired in April by Town News, which is a publisher of many media companies. We provide CMS services, video service, and that sort of thing. So long time. We've been doing 1 Million Cups on video at least for 4 years, so you can go back to our YouTube channel and see 4 years worth of presenters. Sometimes more than one presenter will repeat over time, so it's kind of cool to see how people change. So thanks for coming. I'm so glad to see so many people here.
Yeah, coming back.
I'm Josh Whalen. I run Little Wolf Digital Marketing. I do SEO services and paid search for nonprofits and businesses, mainly e-commerce and lead generation.
My name is Trezzy. I'm a CTO services consultant.
Hi there, my name is Josh Fine. I work with American Family Insurance. I help our 2,500 agents use social media to market their small businesses.
Hi, my name is Pete Cabby. I'm a wealth manager with Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, and I'm here to feed my entrepreneur envy.
Hi, good morning. I'm Susie Ockel, Program Director of Merlin Mentors. I used to be a regular at 1 Million Cups. been a while, so happy to be back here. So Early Mentors is a program of University Research Park that matches aspiring or new entrepreneurs with experienced mentors. So we have openings right now, so if anyone's interested in finding some mentors, come talk to me.
Hey, I'm DP Knudten. My company name is Collaborator Creative. That's because I collaborate creatively with a wide variety of individuals, companies, and businesses on everything from custom copywriting to what I call full-bore nonfiction branding.
Good morning. My name is Heather Ewing. I'm with White Box Commercial Property Group, and we focus on retail. So I say it's all the fun things from your restaurants, fast casuals, fitness, hard goods, etc. So if you have a owner or a tenant looking for space, I'm happy to help and be a resource for them.
I'm Danny Anderson. I work for Baker Tilly, the accounting firm. We try to help a bunch of early stage companies.
And my name is Tammy Taylor. I'm founder of CrossGen Solutions, and it's a consulting company. We help big companies, but I'm really starting to get into helping what we call emerging entrepreneurs. So I've been in business 3 to 5 years. Whether it's to help them with a specific business issue or to really help them shore up the foundation, which to launch their next growth initiative.
I'm Jay Martin from Martin Product Design. We're a Madison-based product design firm, and we're presenting next week. So come back.
I'm Pete Daly, friend of Jay's, and I own a small building here in town.
I'm Jamie Onish. I work with Revelation PR, advertising, and social media. I'm a marketing specialist there, and I'm actually here to support AssuredLeads, who we work with.
Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is John McIntyre. I'm with the American Family Institute, which we just started. I just joined last week, moving here from the San Francisco Bay Area. Went to school here in Madison, so I'm glad to be back. I won't go into the whole institute spiel here about what we're doing, but we're about social impact investing, so we'll be investing in social enterprises. So it's a new arm of American Family's investment thrust. I also happen to be a Kauffman Fellow, and Million Cups was started by the Kauffman Foundation in Kansas City. The Fellows is a spin-out from the foundation, which is a network of investors. So I'm a resource here right in this building with a wide network of investors all around the world. There's 600 fellows in 46 countries now, so glad to be a resource for you as you're exploring investors. Thank you.
And I'm Adam Schrager. I work with John at the Institute, and I've already had 2 cups of coffee this morning. Had I known I was coming to this, I would have grabbed a third. Love the energy, love what you're trying to do. So, thank you.
Thanks again. We'll welcome everybody, and those intros were way more in depth, which means we have new people in the room. It's not like, hi, I'm still Kurt. So I love that. But yeah, so with that, AssuredLeads, welcome.
Thank you.
Sorry guys, we don't have a presentation. Figured keep it more conversation, open everything up. I think the point is hopefully to create sort of engagement beyond just our presentation. So I think please shout out if there are questions. Ultimately, starting with sort of the ask that we were told to come with. We have a very easy problem to explain and a very easy solution of what we do at AssuredLeads. But depending on sort of the pace and the direction with which we are speaking and sort of the conversation and the presentation focus, it's sometimes hard to know the level, I guess, of sort of ubiquitous crowd and know how to phrase certain topics. So through the presentation, if you guys would please, if you don't understand something, please literally raise your hand and shout out what the hell are you guys talking about. Truly, we deal with every sort of facet, from an insurance agent down to an insurance carrier to an investor to really anybody who might be a small business owner to an insurance, personal insurance customer who may be starting a business. Depending on the direction, very different terminology, and I definitely don't want to bore anybody with explaining what a sales lead is, but we have many people who don't know what a sales lead is to begin with, so please shout out. We'll sort of give a little bit of background on ourselves quickly, and then basically dive into what we do, and then open it up for questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to bore you guys with too many details, but my story starts at a pretty young age. Both my parents were entrepreneurs. Had businesses ranging from tanning salons in the 80s to cell phone pager shops in the 90s, so kind of running the gamut there. It's sort of in my blood. My first company that I started with the help of my mother, I was 10 years old. We bought a bouncy castle to rent out for kids' birthday parties around the neighborhood. $300 investment, nice 4X on that before I got tired of it. So going from there, I found myself at UW Madison. That's where Travis and I met. We are both econ majors. After college, moved out to Lake Tahoe, worked in the mortgage space for a little bit, and then ultimately ended up back in Columbus, Ohio, from the direction of this guy here. Buckeye territory, but...
Yeah, no, we, similar sort of upbringing, basically. Was born and raised in Hawaii. Luckily, my brothers both went to UW as a young kid, so I was a Badger Packer fan. Sorry, Vikings fan. But from a young age, so ultimately, Madison was home basically every other year for Christmas. And went to school here as well, econ major, as Taylor was, and basically started some businesses through college, but initially, just 13 years old, skateboarding around the neighborhood, decided to basically start, trademark basically a logo at a young age, and started printing skateboards, building decks. Basically started an apparel and skateboard company that we had companies in California building our skateboard decks, designing, printing, and then selling those to consignment deals through basically local skate shops and surf shops. Basically got bit by the bug and started company since, and ultimately haven't looked back. So after UW, basically we moved out to Columbus, Ohio. Again, the Buckeye thing, sorry, couldn't do it after a couple of years, but we basically moved out there to help build one of our current clients, basically, which is essentially the kayak.com model for insurance, basically an independent insurance agency where we were creating a very aggressive model, and progressive, using the term loosely in insurance, I hate, but at the same time, we basically created a very efficient model that was based around buying sales leads instead of hoping for business to sort of walk through your shop, walk through and basically hope for growth at a certain predictable rate. We were able to build, with a lot of insurance professionals and mortgage folks, basically a very aggressive model that was almost math after a certain point, where buying a certain number of leads, certain quality of leads, and making sure that the close rates were at a certain rate. Then we basically train very elite salespeople who then can close business effectively, and it becomes directly a sort of how much money we spend on leads, here's the production from an insurance standpoint, and ultimately it became very scalable and very fast growing.
So with that, we started out both selling personal insurance. You know, we built a really massive book really quickly using that model. Travis and I were tasked to build out the commercial insurance division of the company, and trying to, you know, basically replicate that success in the commercial side we found quite difficult. Basically, you know, in personal lines, if you can save someone on their auto insurance and they like you, they'll probably switch. Commercial is an entirely different beast. You know, it's a lot more complex policies and things like that. So we actually got a chance to work with the lead vendors who are now technically our competitors, basically working with them, getting a look under the hood so they could help refine their products for us, and found there was basically some systemic issues that we found that they would not be able to really create a quality product that brokers could rely on to close a lot of business.
You asked for interruptions and you highlighted lead as an example. So when you say lead, I picture, you know, a name and some amount of metadata about how the name is going to intersect with the product you're selling. I suspect you maybe mean something more nuanced. Could you just spool it up for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely, great question. So that is generally sort of the agreed upon sort of minimum viable lead, right? And so we, as much as we want to spend $50 for something like that ultimately may have been resold to a bunch of people, that data doesn't really do much unless you finally get in touch with that person, or they actually pick up or want to speak to you, let alone. So what we basically have done is, knowing essentially what the product, or you know, what we wanted as brokers and what we wanted from a quality, let alone the content, and actually what that lead does for us, knowing sort of how to reverse engineer portions of that, we have built basically a product. It's about 40 different pieces of data, knowing essentially what we can get away with. As we have a very heavy human element in the lead process, we're literally having our sales teams speak to business owners, make sure that the information is qualified, and then ultimately they're building a relationship and a rapport with that lead and making sure it's very, very solid, very Loctite, with the information being kind of irrelevant if they're not willing to actually sit down, right? So it's a very robust lead and very high quality, and ultimately that's one component of the actual lead data.
I mean, listening to you describe it, it almost sounds like a warmed up relationship you're ready to lease out rather than as a piece of data. Is that right idea?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, and so that being basically one component of what we're doing, we were very lucky to frankly be shown a very unique opportunity, not only with our company at that point of what was going to be helping us solve the problem internally, but ultimately from a market standpoint. Some of you guys, I'm sure the AmFam folks would say the personal insurance market has now switched to a big focus in commercial. Most carriers at this point basically have been, frankly, losing a lot of money in personal insurance. So with Taylor bringing up the fact that people are switching, anybody will basically switch less than 3 years. Anybody who does that, they're losing money for the carrier. So that acquisition cost for them to bring in a new client, if that personal insurance policy isn't around for more than 3 years, which I'm sure you guys have switched more than once in the past 3 years, you've basically cost them more money than it would have cost for them to not have basically had to. So on one end, the personal insurance is great for consumers and saving the money, but for commercial carriers and P&C carriers, they really are not happy with the problem that's been created by all the Geico commercials, 15 minutes or more shop every year. So business insurance basically has a longer lifetime for the customer, lower claims, and ultimately it's just a lot more money for the carriers.
Yeah, so what this has created is basically a workforce of insurance agents who have never sold commercial in their life, or maybe they sell a couple policies a year that are already personalized clients. And now the carriers are basically tying bonuses to commercial production. So now there's this massive shift in focus toward commercial, and a bunch of agents who, one, don't have the resources and basically the client base to build that commercial book. They also don't have the adequate training to properly sell commercial.
Yeah, so what we've done, the leads component is one aspect of what we do. We're actually a SaaS company at this point, so what we've built is a very efficient platform that is component one being the leads, giving these agents who have maybe never engaged in the commercial space the shots on goal to actually have the production targets in sight on one end, and then on the second part is this training aspect where engaging a lot of people who have maybe been say a personal insurance agent, maybe very successful life insurance agent. Ultimately, as Taylor said earlier, commercial insurance is a whole other beast. I think with enough people engaging, there's inherently sort of a efficiency of the market being created with sort of dead weight being chopped off. That's not frankly what should be to a certain extent. It's about empowering people and giving them the resources across the board, and then figuring out exactly where they sort of specialize at that point. And so leveling the playing field, basically giving them the training, and then on the back end we have a data analytics and sort of predictive platform that is essentially making people better at what they do as they have those opportunities, get better at closing the business when they have the leads, giving them the basic tools for repeated success, and giving them the insights into how to basically structure their day, understand exactly where to focus their resources and time, is where that creates sort of the more efficient agent and ultimately more efficient carriers who can then predictably understand where their production comes from a commercial insurance standpoint. A lot of terminology, a lot of jargon, obviously. Please, we'll sort of open up for questions at this point, and please let us translate it again.
So is there just a ton of commercial insurance available for change to move?
In terms of different options?
Yeah, I mean, if quite a number of personal insurance agents are going to learn how to sell commercial insurance, there has to be a bunch of companies willing to talk and listen to potential change in commercial carriers. And I would have just thought that commercial insurance stickiness is much more prevalent.
Yeah, it definitely is, and that's why the shift in focus toward commercial is because once you acquire that client, they're likely going to stay on your book for a lot longer than a personal lines client. So really, the space that we work in, it's not the people who you need to play golf with 3 times a year in order to win their business, in 2020. It's sort of the smaller businesses, not the startup businesses, but there's sort of a sweet spot. They've been around for maybe 3 to 10, maybe 15 years. Where that market or that shopping mentality is still there, but it allows the opportunity for someone new to come in and provide more value, because that's a big thing in commercial, service and value. These people, it's their livelihood, their business. So if you can win on value and service, that's a massive component. You do still have to work on the business, but once you do, they will stick around a lot longer than personal lines.
Yeah, and for the options basically increasing by the day, literally, I'm sure you guys would agree with AmFam that it's become a massive focus for other companies who maybe never engaged in the space. So there are a lot of people basically trying to solve the problems internally at carriers and hoping to compete on a marketing standpoint, let alone from a product standpoint, be competitive. But those options, ultimately being very much solidified in an independent broker, and a lot of these captive insurance agencies and carriers are now becoming independent to give more options and knowing that they have to be competitive on that standpoint. So commercials now, with it becoming a focus, and definitely for the past 20 years or so, people inside carriers seeing the writing on the wall and seeing that shift, it's become a much more competitive market. But that, as Taylor said, the service and the value, creating a bigger moat, right, basically between a price competitive shopper, is something that is definitely relied upon by carriers, and so it's more about value and packing a good product in than just competing on price. And so we're helping on the back end to basically have a say in that, frankly, creating a price war in personal lines, as much as it sold a bunch of leads for those companies at that point, did not really do anything from a macro standpoint in helping, frankly, the market. So for commercial, we're kicking back basically and making sure that there is that value, keeping that service as a forefront focus for our client agents, the carriers that we work with as well on the business owner side, educating them and making sure that they know what they should be buying, what should be part of their policy, what's a good deal, what's not, to make sure that they're not just sitting there thinking about it from a price standpoint, which ultimately is going to hurt everybody. So making sure that that value is there.
Josh, I wonder if I could ask Josh you a question. Since you work for American Family, is this resonating? You're experiencing this because you're on the marketing side.
Well, there's certainly a shift to emphasize commercial lines amongst our agents because personal lines is having a hard time, as you guys mentioned. And I absolutely agree with the piece around they don't know how to sell it because it's a very complex product. And then also, they don't know, they're having a hard time getting leads because they've figured out how to get those auto and home leads. That's what they've been doing for 90 years. This is entirely new piece, so I would say that it's all very resonant.
So what's interesting is as you're talking, I'm in the commercial arena for real estate. It reminds me of residential and commercial in the sense of, the residential, it's quick, you turn it, that type of thing. Commercial, it's a completely different entity, and a lot of it is very much relationship-based. So as you're trying to make that shift, when I come at it from a commercial aspect, there's a lot of people that want in, right? It's a high dollar stakes, if you want to say. There's long lead times, all of that. And because there's so much money on the line, owners, sellers are not interested in just helping someone along, which I can understand, it needs to be earned, correct? So really, what are you doing from a mentorship training? Because when I think of the commercial, it's really establishing the relationships, proving yourself, having the contacts, and creating your own book. And a lot of it is through various resources that you create for yourself. So how do you truly provide that training when it's such a different playground?
It's a great question, Travis.
Yeah, so what we've done is, on one end, the sales aspect being separate from the commercial, but very much in tandem. You have to be good at both, frankly, in the space. We have, basically ex-insurance brokers, agency owners, sales trainers as part of our team, who are basically speaking directly with some of these business owners and identifying those needs. Through our platform, we have basically automated training resources that dig directly into the sales components, whether it's coverage-based or even, say, an AmFam coverage that's specific to that carrier, giving them that actual data and that training resource with the sort of hard information, if you will, and then tying it together with the sales program and the sales training class is one component of getting the agent clients that we have better. But on the back end, it's truly making sure the relationship for the business owner and why they're actually willing to look at other options is translated directly to the business owner, or excuse me, to the insurance brokers, so that they know exactly what that person's looking for. We identify sort of pain points, if you will, of their current situation and make sure that that is built into the why and to whom basically that lead is going to. So that we're basically matching the best business insurance agents with the best businesses, so that it's not hey, it's somebody local in your area, this is the person to call. This is exactly what they do. You're the best business, and vice versa. And so that there's truly a matchmaking aspect and a truly bringing value on both sides. So it's important to make sure that's communicated to both.
Do you ever think of specializing and like niching it?
Yep.
I think that's coming from the commercial end. To me, that's huge.
Yep.
Because otherwise, your resources are diluted and you're just not as effective.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
So, because of the fact you guys were doing this today, Pete and I were talking on the way over here, we were both talking about how unbelievably complex this has been for us. And in fact, I was thinking that, if there are not workshops here to help entrepreneurs in understanding what the heck is going on with insurance. So that leads me to several questions. The first one is our business is product design. And so we end up partnering with manufacturing people. So we're not commercial. What are we?
Product liability. I mean, it is commercial. Let me get this straight. So you're partnering with the manufacturers and then stocking at wholesale point, or is it all the way down to retail?
It could go all the way to retail.
Broker. So you're really good. So you're working with. Ultimately, it's not depends on the product. So you're probably switching policies every time you pick up a new client. Depending on the way that that's structured, definitely you need professional liability as sort of your product liability ultimately. But this is exactly one of the problems that many people in that space, or something that's not your main street. I'm an auto repair shop. That's all I do. This is my boilerplate policy. Something like that is exactly what, and frankly, it's a sort of extreme example. But pretty much anything beyond that sort of cookie cutter main street shop is going to have that same sort of problem. You're in an even worse spot, frankly. I don't mean to laugh because I've written similar types of companies like this, and it's a pain for me. I'm not going to lie. Having to sit there and fill out 27 report forms and all sorts of, just to get a couple different prices. There may be only one company who can insure you guys. Depending on what you do, you're stuck to an extent. But it's about opening up those other products, combining it and being competitive on price. But ultimately, the value is there. So that most of these companies that have specialized and become the best of what they do and they're sort of price setting, almost monopolistic, if you will, where they don't care. But their value and their service and their actual products, amazingly, is actually a lot of times the best. And so that they've sort of kicked everybody off because they truly deliver the best products. That said, if and when you get a claim, probably not in a good spot.
And that's exactly why the training aspect is so important. You can be licensed in P&C and have never written a commercial policy, but you're still able to do so. So you have, a lot of people just go to their State Farm agency or AmFam agency who's done their home and home and auto. And if you start a business, a lot of people just use the agent that they've used their whole life, who may not know anything about commercial, and they may tell you they may tell you that, they may not. Maybe they're Googling things in the back or calling underwriters, but at the end of the day, you want someone who has experienced, what your business is, basically the similar type of business as yours, so the person who's writing your policy. So we find that really important.
Is the education component of what you do a revenue stream for you, or is it just adding value to ensure quality?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's an important part of the training platform. At the end of the day, what we found, and it's a great problem, frankly, is that we literally have agents who don't know what to do with our leads to a certain extent because they are so well put together and such high quality leads. The business owners, on a certain extent, will be expecting this very buttoned up approach, and so that we need to sort of deliver on the expectations we set with the business owners. So that training aspect is a component to anybody literally being a client of ours, and then it dives deeper into sort of advanced, more specialized trainings and more directed trainings. But it's something that ultimately is making sure that we're successful in the products that we're delivering on both ends stand up.
So timing on that, what are your revenue streams for your business?
Many. One of them being SaaS revenue, on the other end, lead revenue. So we basically partner with brokers and agents and insurance carriers as well. So that we basically are, doing a per lead cost to your general client agents, $100 per lead, and then SaaS subscriptions and as well other revenue streams through that platform.
So why start AssuredLeads as a company versus a successful agency yourself?
We get asked this question all the time.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's, I kind of went through my time in insurance. It was great for me, but it just wasn't something I was super passionate about. Again, I find it a bigger challenge in starting something from scratch and not sort of something with sort of a cookie cutter model. There are a lot of companies out there that enable people to start insurance agencies, and they'll give you money up front to do so and find your office space for you, and you build your book. At the end of the day, it was just something that I just wasn't truly passionate about. As far as opening an agency, I wanted to get into something where I could solve a bigger market problem.
Yeah, one of the cool things at Quick, at our previous company, is that we were sort of kicking back against the same problem of hyper-competitive price shoppers and basically trying to bring value to the market. At that point, it was very much a one-to-one and very ineffective, I guess, or at least volume-wise ineffective way to actually bring value to the whole market. And so we appreciate, frankly, the problems that we were solving, dealing with and then solving at our previous company were created, basically very, very recently, and so that understanding that we're on the sort of forefront of this change and this ability, it sort of brings a exciting responsibility for us to basically make sure that we have a say in ultimately the way the market goes. And so from an agency's perspective, even from a single carrier, it's very hard to do so with the very probable, if not potential, price sort of devolvement basically of the market, making it just free for all. So it's an exciting problem to chat about.
It is, just to check time, it's about 9:20, so maybe we'll take one more question and then we can wrap up.
Just interested, what's your vision for the company 5 years out, whatever?
Was going to ask. Yeah, we growing very rapidly. So we moved back to Madison to hire badgers, give back to the Madison community, frankly, and give back to the resources we were given through college and continuing. Many familiar and great faces in the crowd. Thank you guys, and truly, we are here to grow as many basically offices in Madison or in the Wisconsin area. We just recently moved to a large office space and should have about 200 people or so by the end of 2020, and growing very, very quickly here. So vision-wise, we're just growing, focusing on growth, frankly. Being able to service large carriers at this point, really it's about expanding, beyond what we currently have from a footprint standpoint.
I just want to give one last quick shout out here. I didn't know I was going to see Josh Whalen here today.
Yeah.
He's been instrumental in helping us build our online presence. So if you guys have any needs, he's been amazing. So shout out to you. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.